Hi, friends. Welcome to today's episode where we are going to imagine that we're a tree and use this image to cultivate a better relationship with the five elements. If you listen to the previous episode on the Bardo of Death, you will know that the five elements are pretty important in the death process, and later we'll talk about the role that they play in the rebirth process. If you haven't listened to that episode, you might want to just take a listen to that one first and come back and listen to this one after that. Or you can just dive right in. This is one of my favorite meditations, so I hope that it is helpful. And because we're not really going to talk that much about the five elements, I thought it would be nice just to have a moment to kind of spend with those five elements and get some better sense experientially of what those elements are, how they feel when we focus on them. So I hope this meditation is relaxing and energizing and helpful to you, and maybe also helps you understand the five elements. Welcome to Letting Grow, the podcast about one of the spiritual journey's most difficult and courageous moments, letting go of who we think we should be so we can grow into who we most deeply are. I'm your host, Claire Villarreal, and I appreciate your joining me today. We'll begin with settling into the seat, feeling the weight of the base of the body contacting the cushion or the chair. Just allowing the base of the body to be heavy. That leaves the rest of the body to be light. So we imagine the crown of the head just being gently pulled up toward the sky. Back nice and relaxed. We begin to imagine ourselves as a tree. So from that heavy base of the body, we can imagine roots dropping down. We can imagine them dropping down into the physical earth, or we can just imagine them dropping down into the deeper layers of our own being. And then from the top of the body, we can imagine branches going up, leaves on those branches, leaves almost joyfully reaching up toward the sky, the warmth of the sun. So we'll just take a moment and settle into this feeling of being grounded, imagining ourselves as a tree. Now we'll begin to connect with the five elements: earth, water, fire, air, space. So we begin with feeling into our roots as they just drop down into the rich, deep earth element. We imagine drawing up that earth element with the breath in the form of golden light. So we're drawing in balance, equanimity, a kind of stable confidence, evenness of mind. We'll just take a few moments, use the in-breath to draw that energy up. You can imagine it again like a tree flowing up through our trunk of our body, flowing all the way up to our branches and our leaves. With the out-breath, we can imagine that our entire body and our entire being, really, our energy, our mind, absorbs that earth element. And now again, we turn our attention down to the roots. This time we're going to connect with the water element. So water is flowing, smooth, comfortable, intuitive. We begin to draw that energy up through our roots, through the trunk of the body, all the way up into our branches and our leaves. We draw it into our physical body, our emotional and energetic body, and our mind. So with the in-breath, we imagine that energy rising up from the roots and suffusing us. And with the out-breath, we imagine it just soaking into all those various layers of our being. And now to connect with the fire element, we bring our attention up into the branches, up into the leaves. And we can imagine away the ceiling and the roof of wherever we are. If it's cloudy or if it's chilly, we can imagine that away too. We just feel the warmth of the sun above us, beaming down, and our leaves receive this fire energy, which is engaged, warm, passionate, discriminating, gives us energy to do the things we want to do. So we imagine with each in-breath just drawing this down from the leaves, all the way down through our trunk, even down into our roots. And with the out-breath, this energy just settles into all the layers of our being, physical, energetic, and emotional, and mental. Now we move to the air element. You can imagine this as a green energy, the ability of air to move. So for us, that manifests as the ability to act in effective ways, the ability to navigate change, the ability to get out of just a kind of spinning and busyness. So we can imagine our leaves drawing in this green air energy and breathing it all the way down through the trunk into the roots. And then with each out breath, just allowing that to diffuse throughout all the layers of our being.
Finally, we'll connect with the space element. You can imagine this as deep blue. And for this, if you like, you can imagine breathing in the deep blue of the sky and space above us through the leaves. You can imagine breathing it in through the entire tree body, just breathing in the space, because of course our entire body exists in space. Space suffuses our body. Even where our body is, space is not obstructed in any way. So we can, if you'd like, imagine breathing it in through the entire tree body. We imagine this deep blue energy coming in, opening up, allowing us to feel the space that exists within us, outside us, in our lives, in our minds. So we again just breathe in, inviting this space energy, space element within us. And on the out breath, we allow it to just soak into all the levels of our being. Before we close this meditation, we can just take a moment of sitting silently and letting our body digest, take in these 5 elements that we've just connected with. Finally, we close the meditation.
Thanks for coming along for today's exploration of the process of letting go. If you found this episode helpful, please share it. And subscribe now wherever you listen to podcasts so you're always in the loop. For links to more content related to today's episode, please see the show notes. See you again next week.